Alright, well, I've been procrastinating here for a little while, and quite frankly, I'm probably ready to do this. Okay, so this is a podcast that I decided that I'm going to try out and see how this goes, where it's going to be about paranormal topics. God, I'm so bad at the speaking part, apparently. Anyway, well, I wanted to start off by saying I don't have a title for the show yet, but it's just, I'm just knocking this around. I have some ideas written down here. I was playing with a pen, so if that picked up on the mic, sorry. And these are things that happened to me throughout my life. One of them isn't that impressive, but the other three I think were pretty crazy. And along with that, I have friends that can vouch for these stories. Just saying, like, if you need confirmation, I can get them in contact with you. But validity in the paranormal, what's the word? And validity and credibility in the world of the paranormal is not easy to come by, to be honest. I mean, a lot of astrophysicists, there's a lot of experts out there that talk about ghosts and demons and hauntings, as well as, ufologists that seem to know their shit. I mean, to me, they know their stuff. It's not me, like, they aren't credible. And at the same time, they could be embellishing a bit, maybe, when they talk, but I don't know. I don't know these people personally. I would love to talk to, there's a few that I'm a pretty big fan of. So, if that's even a thing, if you can be a fan of someone who is a scientist, I suppose. But anyway, I'm going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. So, after the break, I was thinking, and I realized that this being a first episode, it's not going to be, super high quality, super production value. I mean, this is me individually doing this by myself. I'm not asking for help, but if anyone's willing to be an editor of the show, or perhaps thinks that they have some tips, feel free to shoot me a message, an email, comment on YouTube, or SoundCloud. Those should be the two services that I'll be uploading this to for now, until I can afford a more permanent option. I know there's free hosting out there. I just gotta look around, see what I can find, And if you hear yelling in the background, that's my roommate yelling at the dog, most likely. I'm not sure what his issue is. He's been rather on edge lately. Maybe he's possessed. But, with that said, my first story is about my 18th birthday. Now, I was hanging out with my friend and his girlfriend at my house, and we were just, out back on the porch, just, having some, not drinks, not like alcohol, but just, drinking some soda and just hanging out, just chilling. And we noticed in the sky there was a helicopter. Now, that's not exactly abnormal for where I grew up. However, it was hovering. It wasn't going left, it was going right, straight, towards us, away from us, anything like that. It was a hovering helicopter. And upon closer inspection, we noticed it was a black helicopter. Now, I know conspiracy theorists and a lot of people talk about, black helicopters, oh, it's the government, it's the shadow government. No, I don't think that's what this was. I am under the belief that this was a military helicopter. Now, the reason that is important is because there is an Air Force base along with an airport that was near the house where I grew up. And, okay, so, planes flew over all the time. There was always helicopters, the news stations, the medvac helicopters for the hospitals in the area. Normal air traffic, really, for someone who is observant enough to notice these things. I mean, some people, you just kind of, you get desensitized. You don't always notice it after a while. Sometimes you're just like, oh, okay, there's, some Someone's being evacuated. Oh, the news station is going to report an accident, most likely on the highway or beltway. I grew up outside of D.C. I grew up in a suburb called Manassas. Now, with that said, that's why air traffic was pretty common. I mean, Dulles Airport is a very busy airport. It's also, I believe, international. So, air traffic was common. But back to the helicopter. The fact that it was hovering was strange because I'd never seen that before. Never seen that. And we started looking around and we noticed another helicopter came up from the right, to our right anyway. And we saw it, and it stopped and it hovered as well. And then there was a third one that if you were standing on the back porch, it was above the house, like you could see it over past the house. They were still a good distance away, but you could see the light hovering, and it was towards actually the highway there called Highway 28. Now, that was weird for us. We'd never seen anything like this before, and we thought, well, maybe it's a training exercise. We don't know. It was nighttime. It was just, we were just hanging out, talking about whatever. And, all of a sudden these helicopters show up, and we're thinking, like, did we do something to get their attention or something? We didn't know. We didn't know what was going on. So, as time goes on, we're just kind of watching these helicopters, and then eventually we noticed some cars were coming down the road from the highway. Because we heard them turning. You can hear the cars, pretty well from the back porch. I know that's probably a common thing. I'm just saying, if a car was coming down the road, you could hear it. Now, the thing is there was about maybe 10 cars that came down and turned right to park in front of a corner house that was across the street from my road. And that was strange. I mean, 10 cars. We went out front of the house because, like I said, we were in the back originally. We went out front and we noticed that there were black sedans, and that was very strange. We noticed there was a light over there, like not the headlights from the cars. In fact, I think some of them had their headlights off. Not all of them, but I believe some of them did. And there was a very bright light shining in front of the cars. We couldn't see what it was, but we could see the light it was emitting. And so we sat there and decided that we would just kind of hang out. We weren't going to get too close in case they became, I don't know, violent or whatever. I don't know. Some people get paranoid when who they believe might be government agents show up, FBI, whatever. Although honestly, the people you should fear more are the government, from my understanding. FBI is not out to hurt you. However, they do tend to twist information. And that is true. You can call me crazy all you want. But my friend John, who was there along with his girlfriend Jackie and me, he goes up the road to see, get a little closer look, because he's just that kind of person. He was like, what's going on? I want to know. He had to know what the deal was. So he went up the road, and a man from one of the cars that was standing by one of the cars comes up and approaches him and tells him, you need to get away from here. You can't be here. You have to either go inside or at least get, a good distance away. And John is like, why? He's like, because it's not safe. That's what the agent said to him, and I heard him say that. I wasn't too far away out of earshot, and I heard the agent say, because it's not safe here for civilians. So we went into the house, but because of where the living room was located, we could watch from the window. And after about 20 minutes, we see them. They were meandering around, just walking around, checking things out. I've noticed a few times the one agent kept looking towards the house. I mean, we had gone inside, and I remember he watched us go in, so he knew we were in the house. But I guess he also probably figured, human curiosity is going to kick in, and we're going to hover a bit, So after that, we just kind of kept watching. Nothing really happened. We didn't see anything really that strange, but we noticed the cars left. And we went over there, and there was nothing. Nothing was there. Everything was normal as it should have been, just like during the daytime. So I'm not sure what to make of this experience in particular, but it was very strange. And The bright light would suggest it was maybe a UFO, maybe it was a crash of some sort of aircraft, I don't know. However, there was I forgot about the weird noise we heard, which was like, it was like a loud DOS computer beeping. At one point, I remember hearing that while we were still outside, and that was strange as well. So, what could have made that noise, cause that kind of light, and cause the attention of 10 government agents? 10 cars, anyway, with government agents in them, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the experience. I want to say UFO, but even that's a bit far-fetched, I think. I don't know. It's probably something that can be explained away easily with a more reasonable, rational explanation. But do I want to believe it was a UFO. That would be really cool. But I just don't think that was it. And if it was, then why did it take 10 of them to... Why did 10 of them have to show up? You know, that's, I think, excessive for a possible UFO crash or landing. You'd think they would want to keep it hush-hush and keep it more subdued because of the attention it would bring with 10 cars. But that's just, you know, what I think. That's just how I see it. Like, I wouldn't have... Being, I guess, a commander, I don't know, I would be like, no, we don't need 10 people or 10 cars. We can maybe 4 at the most, and throw maybe some police in there to make it look less suspicious. That's just, you know, that would have made me think, oh, someone just screwed up, someone pissed someone off, you know, someone, domestic disturbance, whatever. That would have been my thought if there were cops there. But no, these were just black sedans. And the fact it happened on my 18th birthday, for some reason, I don't know if that's related, but it was very strange that it decided to happen on my 18th birthday. I mean, why, of all the days it could be, my birthday, you know? It's kind of cool, gives me something to talk about, gives me a memory from then. I mean, I had a great time with my friends afterward, and then they headed home, and I went to bed, and the next day I bought my first pack of cigarettes. I mean, I had been smoking before that, but, you know, it wasn't really that big of a day. Got a... think some money, a present or two, you know, just pretty low-key birthday, really. But overall, it was just a very strange experience, to say the least. That black sedan showed up in my neighborhood because of a white light that we didn't even notice the light. That's the best part of this, is that we didn't notice the light standing out there on the back porch. We couldn't see it from there, really. And I remember going out back at one point while they were still over there to see if I could see it, and strangely enough, I kind of could. So why we could see it, not why we didn't notice, how we didn't notice it beforehand versus later on when I went out back just to see if you could. That's a bit strange too. So yeah, that's my little story about my UFO on my 18th birthday, I suppose. And we'll be right back.